Chef Heston Blumenthal owns the famed The Fat Duck restaurant. It's been named one of the world's top restaurants for 4 years in a row now. Now he's putting, though, a very modern spin on some more historic English recipes at his new spot, which is called simply Dinner. Heston and his head chef, Ashley Palmer-Watts, are with us this morning, along with Marc Meltonville, who's the food historian at Hampton Court Palace. They all work together to create the menu for dinner. We get to sample a little bit of it this morning. Good to have all of you with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
And I should say, we were here in London in March. We knew you were coming on the show, so we went to dinner and we sampled everything, and it was delicious.
Oh, thank you.
We were a little apprehensive, though, because you have things in the menu like pigeon, things we're not used to seeing.
Yeah, there's some funny old British ingredients around, and I think it's actually bringing those back, which is so exciting.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun. So you and Marc work together. Marc, you work at a place called Hampton Court Palace, which is really a recreation of a Tudor palace. I mean, it is a Tudor palace, but it's sort of set in historical context for folks to
We brought back
visit.
the Tudor kitchen, so we recreated all the equipment to put into a 500-year-old kitchen and now make it work again. So we can take recipes from the time of Henry VIII and use the same room, same ingredients, same tools and techniques to see what that food tasted like.
Which has got to be fun for you, coming from a modern kitchen.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing the mirrored image of what he's doing. So the idea for me is, when I first met Marc, I had no idea that there was this wealth of recipes. And actually, we got maligned in Europe for the quality of our food in Britain in the 70s and 80s. But you go back in history, 100, 200 years, and we had cuisine that was the envy of Europe.
Yeah.
So my idea to Marc was to take some of these old recipes as inspiration, but use thoroughly modern techniques and knowledge to produce something that's it's an inspiration
Inspired
from the past.
by.
It's not a replica.
There we go. So let's start off with one of the things it's inspired by. This is called a pomme, an apple.
Yeah, it's a French word for apple, and this is one of the dishes that inspired Heston. That recipe is a good 500 years old, and people go, what is it? What's this gnarly fruit in a bowl? The whole point of this, from your chef's point of view, is to try and inspire your diner into something new. So although that looks like some sort of gnarly baked fruit, maybe an apple or something, when you cut it open, inside is a spiced pork meatball. So it's got fruit and it's got spices and meat and so on. Complete surprise.
A meatball disguised as an apple. So you've taken this and created what's called meat fruit.
Yes.
Which has an interesting name.
Basically, I think what fascinated me is you go back in history and you think there was no creativity. But hundreds of years ago, there were no televisions, there were no sound systems, there were no computer games. So at top end, if you really wanted to impress your friends, you'd do things like create illusion with food. Food was much more theatrical. So that's what we've done here. So basically, this that looks like a mandarin, complete with the little dimples, is actually a chicken liver parfait. So if I cut through, you can see
there we go. So there's the
Really
fruit
soft
and there's the
parfait.
meat. I'm going to try one little bite, really, because I had it once before and it's delicious, and I want to prove to everybody at home just how good it is.
We make a mandarin jelly, so it's dipped in this mandarin jelly.
Just as good.
So good.
It's really refined, isn't it?
And actually, there's a little bit of the orange flavor, which is lovely. Up next, you have a hay-smoked mackerel. You're actually smoking the fish in hay?
Yeah, so this is another good example of what we do at the restaurant. It's taking inspiration from elements of dishes. So the historical element to this is actually the lemon salad here and the gentleman's relish, which I'll come on to. But the mackerel itself, we cure it with salt, lime and lemon zest with coriander and chilli, not for that long. Brush that off. Then into one of these fish clamps, put some hay.
Real hay.
Basically, you just go and get this from the pet shop.
Yep.
Put the fish fillet into there, pack some more hay on top of it,
there we
clamp it up, and then send it to
Ashley's
Ashley
over
on the
there
grill.
on the grill. Oh, wow, look at that.
Smoking it. So the suggestion is...
Have a fire extinguisher close by.
Do not do this indoors.
Don't do it indoors.
Or if you do, don't blame me.
I'm going to take a quick bite. As you tell us, we've got about 30 seconds. I want you to tell us quickly about the pineapple there before we move on to ice cream.
Okay, so this is gentleman's relish, which is an anchovy garlic mix with a lemon salad. So it's very light and clean.
Oh, it's delicious.
Here, this is a tipsy cake with a pineapple, but this has been roasted on a spit.
It's beautiful.
Now, for me, just seeing pineapples on a rotisserie is just fantastic. Now, I've discovered with Ash that the French call us les roast beef, the roast beef. So I always thought it's because they took the mick of our liking for roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. But in the 1800s, apparently, we were the leading experts in Europe on cooking meat over an open fire. So any chance to basically teach the French how to cook something from a Brit's point of view, I'm completely up for. So,
good thing the rivalry still exists. So you've made this tipsy cake. I'm going to take a quick bite as we move on to ice cream.
Another success.
Rich and flavorful. Delicious. We have a minute left. Why is ice cream so important?
Okay, now, so this is basically a celebration of historical Victorian ice cream.
Some liquid nitrogen there.
Liquid nitrogen. There was a woman called Margaret Marshall who had a cooking school in Regent Street, just down the road from the restaurant. She had seen some man demonstrate a flask, thermos flask, with liquid nitrogen in it. She thought you could use this to make ice cream, but she never did. She wrote about it. So because this was down the road from the restaurant, we thought, let's have a liquid nitrogen ice cream trolley. And this handle here is a Victorian invention as well.
Ah, and hence the
So
inspiration.
basically, you do this at the table. It should take 1 minute. Hopefully, we've got just enough time.
We may just get it in.
Okay.
So there we
then,
go.
Ice cream cone. This same woman invented the edible ice cream cone 5 years
Really?
before the Americans thought it was at St. Louis Trade World Fair in 1905.
Wait,
This
you
was
mean we didn't do it?
1900. Apparently not. Apparently not.
That's
and
all
there
right.
you go. That's a 1 minute
Okay.
liquid nitrogen ice
1
cream
minute
with
ice
some
cream cone?
freeze-dried raspberries on top.
I'm sold. It's fantastic.
We're keeping you in England now.
You just may be. Ashley, Heston, Marc, great to have all of you here. Thanks for
you.
bringing all this fun stuff to us. It's delicious.